My ideas comes from everything of the world, from daily life. One of my story, it is not included in the Kite Family. One of my story is come from my cat. Sorry, it is not the same with the reality. In the short story, the cat becomes fatter and fatter, and the cat is larger and larger, and the size of the cat is similar to the main character. And the society will kill the cat as this is a too large animal in that society. It will become very dangerous. So the cat just escaped from the society with his owner. So that's the short story about it. It come from my cat. I remember when I was 15 and I wrote a fiction. It is called Chen Diamond Yu Guo Yu Meng. In Cantonese, it is two names of the boys, and one of the character is called Baba. So, and after that, I always use this name in my different fictions. But I can't very clear to explain which type of girl is Baba. But I think in this world, there is a type of girl, she's Baba. So I put this character into my fiction from time to time and repeatedly. Many people say that it is dreamlike, but I don't really understand because to me, it is my own reality. Of course, all of us share a common reality, a more objective reality, but everyone have their own reality. It is a bit different from the common reality. In our daily life, there is so many illusions around us. In my fictions, I try to take out the reality underneath these kind of illusions.
It's all you know. There's so much physical detail in these stories that's the anchor for it. You know, so that I don't actually experience it as a dream state. I mean, it's more like this is a world with with hard surfaces and real things happening. It's just. It's not the world that we're used to necessarily. It has some intersection with it. But.
It came up when I was looking at the names. There were a few names that I actually did transliterate according to Cantonese because they weren't really they didn't have any seem to have much metaphoric. They were just names. Just common names, and so that was important. That I transliterate them as Cantonese, not Mandarin. Another place that it came up, though, was you used an idiom at one point, and I didn't know what to make of it because it was, again, it was a metaphor, and so when Hon Lai-chu was reviewing the manuscript, she said, "Gee, I don't think you understand this very well." So this is a Cantonese expression, which I wasn't familiar with, and I had, it had popped up in my dictionaries and stuff. So, and I'm very aware of the fluidity of Hon Lai-chu's writing. When he talked about, there's this ambiguity you have in Chinese that in English you can't do it. You have to pick a tense. You have to have a subject, and it gets really tedious sometimes writing in English because you have to commit to these things. Even though as you're reading it, it's sort of in this eternal cinematic present. When you put it into English, you have to think about what's it going to be and what's going to sound natural and what's not going to call attention to itself. That's not the point.
You pointed to in the translation, I have to be very clear, and I ask you lots of questions in order to know what the underlying intent is and what you're getting at, and that's the difference. Because when I do my own writing, trust me, it's very spontaneous, and I'm not thinking about it. It doesn't have to make sense, It doesn't. It makes sense later, even if ultimately in the translation it doesn't have to be maybe quite so clear, but at least the translator has to be clear on what it is.
I want to tell you a secret right now. Every time when I send back the answer to you, I always suspect myself, is it the real answer I have? Or I want to answer Andrea, so I will create a new meaning of my fiction. So I can give a more reasonable answer to my Andrea. I always suspect myself.